Bum, 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 bum. We're doing it
We're
again.
living.
And we're aliving.
Can you go live if you're dead?
Maybe. You're a zombie.
To go live is to be the person who clicks the button, right? To go live, like say you went to morgue.
Uh-huh.
The dead people didn't go live, even though you're recording them live, right? You have to be the physical person that... Even a person isn't going live, even if they're alive and they're being recorded live.
They're not doing it. I guess it would be. It's action dependent. It was me. I went live. You're a victim of this, wife.
Philosophy of words. Everybody's words is dumb. It's dumb, kitty cat. You're not dumb.
It's so dumb. You mind moving your foot a little bit here, baby?
You mind eating my fucking poop in a video for Japanese men to watch and jerk off to?
I'd rather not.
Show me someone who jerked off. Show me a lady who jerked off to scat porn.
Ugh. That's gross.
And I'll show you a person that got molested by their dad.
I'm sure they make all the sound decisions. Ugh.
Who?
A person who jerks off to scat porn.
Oh.
Lady or man.
Right.
Gross. So
Where'd
we're
we
reading...
end off?
Huh?
Sorry. Go ahead.
I was trying to figure out where we left off with this 1984.
Fuck. We, Julia gave him the note that said, I love you.
Yep.
And he's been on about it since then.
Yeah.
And I think he went on a work rampage. He divulged himself. He vulged himself. He swam deep into his work.
Uh-huh.
To try to get his mind off of it. He's like, this is something I do very well. Which is very reminiscent of people today. I'm such a good XYZ. When I get paid for it.
Yeah.
I'm good at the things people give me approval for.
Mm-hmm. Because I get approval for it. So that must mean I am good at it.
Well, what's his name Winston doesn't get approval. He just gets his measly rations every month. He just takes pride in it because he's got to do fucking something.
Syme knows Winston's writing. He was talking with Syme a while ago. He's like, I read one of your articles, one of your things. He's like, you use too much old speak. You don't use enough.
How does he know? How could he just... Are you sure?
I thought so. It was I think it was a chapter or two ago he was talking with Syme.
I thought he was just like, the problem with kids these days is they use too many words.
And he's like, you're from the old times. You haven't let it go. But soon there'll be a point where that type of stuff will no longer exist. The only
Maybe
thing...
he's just generalizing him. He wasn't necessarily... Because how would Syme have... Does he do research to see what of his friends write what in the Ministry of Truth?
Unless there's some sort of pattern, associated with speech that, he talks like he writes or something. But probably not, because that's not how...
He wouldn't talk as much as he would write.
Yeah. So you're thinking about also how to get a hold of Julia, who gave him the letter.
He's dreaming about it, thinking about it in his bedroom under his covers. Poor fella.
So he's like, I don't know how to get a hold of her. I can't follow her to her house.
She's found you before. She'll find you again, buddy.
We'll pick up right here. He was going through all the options.
I'm prepared for the cats and the dog to start going nuts now that we're
ready to read. So finally, he decided that the safest place was the canteen.
There we go. Run around like freaking mice.
Nothing. We were just playing Mass Effect. Nothing. Mm-hmm. We were doing stuff before then. Nothing. We go live. It's time to run like
when
crazy.
When we wake up, they want to lay down and go to sleep on us.
Yeah. And when we go to sleep, they want to run around on us, too.
Directly on us.
Yeah. Oh, hey, hardcore parkour. Bounce.
Fucking gabagoos.
If he could get her by a table by herself, somewhere in the middle of the room, not too near the telescreens, and with a sufficient buzz of conversation all around, if these conditions endured for, say, 30 seconds, it might be possible to exchange a few words. You got something to say?
Say it into the microphone, buddy.
Yeah. This is recorded for all prosperity. You're on the internet now.
People are going to know you. You're a part of history.
Yeah. Dumb cat. For a week after this, life was like a restless dream.
Our cats are smarter than half the people on the fucking internet. Sorry. Anyway.
Yeah.
How's that hot sludge poop? Coffee.
It's not bad. It's not great.
Okay.
Yeah, it needs that heavy cream.
Feels like you're drinking like Victory Gin right now. It's like, I just got to do this to survive.
There's a little bit to that. There's some. It doesn't taste as bad as before. Before, we were getting that boiled milk in stores, and that was impossible. With the milk we get now,
it's like putting butter in it. You're like Jim Carrey putting ghee in your coffee.
I don't know if it's like that. I could put some. Should I be that referee guy? I'll prevent Alzheimer's by putting coconut.
Yeah, and then your mom fucking died. Cracked your head on the ice, you fucking. You know what I regard you as.
Completely regarded. So life was like a restless dream. On the next day, she did not appear in the canteen until he was leaving it.
I just saw what you wrote. Orwell that ends well?
Oh, yeah.
Cute. Orwell's in Love and War. I'll think of another one. Continue.
Was that I think there's that Twitter's guy that Or's well and good.
Oh yeah.
She did not appear in the canteen until he was leaving it, the whistle having already blown.
Fuck that guy.
Presumably, she had been changed onto a later shift. They passed each other without a glance. On the day after that, she was in the canteen at the usual time, but with 3 other girls and immediately under a telescreen. Then, for 3 dreadful days, she did not appear at all.
He wants her so bad.
His whole mind and body seemed to be afflicted with an unbearable sensitivity, a sort of transparency, which made every moment, every sound, every contact, every word that he had to speak or listen to an agony.
I bet you, if there was more girls who went around declaring their love for boys, they would be headed towards that and not towards whatever the fuck they do after high school.
Yeah. It would definitely help give guys a purpose instead of just fucking destruction.
Life should be a Sadie's dance,
Oh,
where the girl tells the guy, because the guy will fall for anybody. Either, a hot mess. She goes, "I love you." He's going, "I think I could put my dick in her," and then that's how love happens.
hey, I am putting my dick in. This is pretty great. Would you say we could do this on the regular? All right, cool. Even in his sleep, he could not altogether escape from her image. He did not touch the diary during those days. If there was any relief, it was in his work, in which he could sometimes forget himself for 10 minutes at a stretch.
Ooh.
He had absolutely no clue what to make. He had no clue as to what had happened to her. There was no inquiry that he could make. She might have been vaporized. She might have committed suicide. She might have been transferred to the other end of Oceania. Worst and likeliest of all, she might simply have changed her mind and decided to avoid him.
Oh, that's the worst of all.
I love you. Hey, I'm over it. The next day, she reappeared like a Pokemon's.
A wild Julie appears.
Communication super effective. Her arm was out of the sling and she had a band of sticking plaster around her wrist. The relief of seeing her was so great that he could not resist staring directly at her for several seconds.
Oh, man.
On the following day, he had very nearly succeeded in speaking to her. When he came into the canteen, she was sitting at a table well out from the wall and was quite alone. It was early, and the place was not very full. The queue edged forward till Winston was almost at the counter, then was held up for 2 minutes because someone in front was complaining that he had not received his tablet of saccharin. But the girl was still alone when Winston secured his tray and began to make for her table. He walked casually towards her, his eyes searching for a place at some table beyond her.
There's another thing that people don't realize will happen or is happening with 1984.
Oh, yeah?
Food.
Yeah.
You want real sugar, you want fucking saccharin, because if you rely on places like Walmart, companies like fucking Cisco, they're going to give you the dog shittest of things.
Oh, yeah. The cheapest thing, and they'll still charge you an arm and a leg for it because no matter what it is,
people will still sell it at the fucking store.
Their profit margins will be the same.
Ugh.
Yep. Don't matter if it's poisonous for you. It doesn't matter if it's bad for you.
Just don't get angry about it.
Yeah.
Nothing I can do. Take it or leave it. All right, I guess you're out of business. Fucking trollololly.
My parents used to say, "You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit."
Then why did your mom bitch about everything?
Because you know.
What if I ate your potato chips, you dumb bitch?
Your can of tuna fish. Fucking stupid. There is a gigantic problem with food. And its availability, what it's made of, because vanilla and vanilla are the same, right? Because I can't tell the difference between a square and a circle.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it doesn't look the same under a microscope, but it's the same? Shut up, Harvey, whatever your name is. Sci Foods.
Oh, yeah.
Sci-fi show, Sci-show.
Yeah, whoever that fucking loser is. I don't even know if there's still a channel.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
But where there is a vacuum for stupid, more stupid will be. Because everybody who wants to watch something is stupid. Hate watch.
Hate watching. Let's see here. But the girl was still alone when Winston secured his tray and began to make his way for her. He walked casually towards her, his eyes searching for a place at some table beyond her. She was perhaps 3 meters away from him. Another 2 seconds would do it. Then a voice behind him
Oh no.
called, "Smith!" He pretended not to hear. "Smith!" repeated the voice, more loudly. It was no use. He turned around. A blonde-headed, silly-faced young man named Wilshire, whom he barely knew, was inviting him with a smile to a vacant place at his table. It was not safe to refuse. After having been recognized, he could not go and sit at a table with an unattended girl. It was too noticeable. He sat down with a friendly smile. The silly blonde face beamed into his. Winston had hallucination of himself smashing a pickaxe right into the middle of it.
Not for Julia anymore this time.
It was a hallucination. It wasn't imagination.
Huh.
He's like, I must have not done that. It must have been a hallucination. The girls' table filled up a few minutes later. But she must have seen him coming towards her, and perhaps she would take the hint. The next day, he took care to arrive early. Sure enough, she was at a table about the same place, and again alone. The person immediately ahead of him in the queue was a small, swiftly moving, beetle-like man with a flat face and tiny, suspicious eyes. As Winston turned away from the counter with his tray, he saw the little man was making straight for the girls' table. His hopes sank again. There was a vacant place at a table further away, but something in the little man's appearance suggested that he would be sufficiently attentive to his own comfort to choose the emptiest table.
So he didn't sit with the guy who was calling to him?
No, he did earlier. This is the next day.
Oh, okay.
The guy he was that called out to him, he was hallucinating that he pickaxed him in the face.
And then the next day happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
With ice at his heart, Winston followed. It was no use unless he could get the girl alone. At this moment, there was a tremendous crash. The little man was sprawling on all fours. His tray had gone flying. 2 streams of soup and coffee were flowing across the floor. He started to his feet with a malignant glance at Winston, whom he evidently suspected of having tripped him up. But it was all right. 5 seconds later, with a thundering heart, Winston was sitting at the girls' table. He just like blew by him. He was like, nerd. He's like, listen, I gotta get this puss. The government
get this love.
This government's keeping me down. I've gone from wanting to murder this lady to I'm gonna risk my life to talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
He did not look at her. Hi. He unpacked his tray and promptly began eating. It was all important to speak at once before anyone else came. But now a terrible fear had taken possession of him. A week had gone by since she had first approached.
What if she doesn't love me anymore?
She would have changed her mind.
Mm-hmm.
She would have changed her mind. She must have changed her mind. It was impossible that this affair should end successfully.
There's too many coincidences, but too many similarities between 1984 and Evangelion.
It's impossible.
I think so.
Uh, it was impossible for that this affair should end successfully. Such things did not happen in real life. He might have flinched altogether from speaking if at this moment he had not seen Ampleforth, the hairy-eared poet, wandering limply around the room with a tray, looking for a place to sit down. In this vague way, Ampleforth was attached to Winston, and would certainly sit down at his table if he caught sight of him. There was perhaps a minute in which to act. Both Winston and the girl were eating steadily. The stuff they were eating was a thin stew, actually a soup, of haricot beans. In a low murmur, Winston began speaking. Neither of them looked up. Steadily they spooned the watery stuff into their mouths, and between spoonfuls exchanged a few necessary words in low, expressionless voices. Hey, what do you think of the weather? And do you like these beans? Oh. What time do you leave work? No. 18:30. Where can we meet? Victory Square, near the monument. It's full of telescreens. It doesn't matter if there's a crowd. Any signal? No. Don't come up to me until you've seen me among a lot of people. And don't look at me. Just keep somewhere near me. What time? 19 hours. All right. Ampleforth failed to see Winston and sat down at another table. The girl finished her lunch quickly and made off, while Winston stayed to smoke a cigarette. They did not speak again, and, so far it was possible for the two people sitting opposite sides of the same table, they did not look at one another. Winston was at Victory Square before the appointed time. He wandered around the base of the enormous fluted column, at the top of which Big Brother's statue gazed southward toward the skies, where he had vanquished the Eurasian airplanes. The East Asian airplanes it had been a few years ago. In the Battle of Airstrip 1. They even got their own special little... It's like the Battle of the Bulge. Battle of Airstrip 1.
I'm trying to think of other Battle of Waterloo. Like that?
Maybe episode 1. The Phantom Eurasians.
Well, I feel like they don't name anything nicely. It's just...
Yeah.
1, 2... It's not like JFK or...
Yeah.
Martin Luther King Boulevard.
That's the safest place to be. In the street in front of it, there was a strange statue of a man on horseback, which was supposed to represent Oliver Cromwell. At 5 minutes past the hour, the girl had still not appeared. Again, the terrible fear seized upon Winston. She was not coming. She had changed her mind.
Oh,
He walks
sounds like me.
He walked slowly up to the north side of the square and got a sort of pale-colored pleasure from identifying St. Martin's Church, whose bells, when it had bells, had chimed, "You owe me 3 farthings." When he saw the girl standing at the base of the monument, reading or pretending to read a poster which ran spirally up the column, it was not safe to go near her until some more people had accumulated. There were telescreens all around the pediment. But at this moment there was a din of shouting and a zoom of heavy vehicles from somewhere to the left. Suddenly everyone seemed to be running across the square. The girl nipped nimbly around the lions at the base of the monument and joined in the rush. Winston followed. As he ran, he gathered from some of the shouting remarks that a convoy of Eurasian prisoners was passing. Already a dense mass of people was blocking the south side of the square. Winston, At normal times, the kind of person who gravitates to the outer edge of any kind of scrimmage, shoved, butted, squirmed his way forward into the heart of the crowd.
Just for Julia.
Yep, changed completely. Get out of my way. Soon he was within arm's length of the girl, but she was blocked by an enormous prole and an almost equally enormous woman, presumably his wife, who seemed to form an impenetrable wall of flesh. Winston wriggled himself sideways, and with a violent lunge managed to drive his shoulder between them. For a moment he felt as though his entrails were being ground to a pulp between the two muscular hips. Then he had broken through, sweating a little. He was next to the girl. They were shoulder to shoulder, both staring fixedly in front of them. A long line of trucks with wooden-faced guards armed with submachine guns standing upright in each corner was passing slowly down the street. In the trucks, little yellow men in shabby greenish uniforms were squatting, jammed close together. Their sad Mongolian faces gazed out over the sides of the trucks, utterly incurious. Occasionally, when a truck jolted, there was a clank-clank of metal. Clank-clank. All the prisoners were wearing leg irons. Truckload after truckload of the sad faces passed. Winston knew that they were there, but he saw them only intermittently. The girl's shoulder and her arm right down to the elbow were pressed against his. Her cheek was almost near enough him to feel its warmth. She had immediately taken charge of the situation, just as she had done in the canteen. She began speaking in the same expressionless voice as before, with lips barely moving, a mere murmur easily drowned by the din of voices and rumbling of the trucks. Can you hear me? Yeah. Can you get Sunday afternoon off? Yes. Then listen carefully. You'll have to remember this. Go to Paddington Station. With a sort of military precision that astonished him, she outlined the route that he was to follow.
For sex.
Don't forget to stretch 3 times and then touch your nose. What's going on here, wife?
I just put pants on.
Put pants on?
It's a little chilly.
Okay.
Can't be naked all the time. If you're worried I'm going to run out on you, I'll take my shoes off.
You're going to go see that other guy that you spend all your time with.
Oh, yeah. I definitely have lots of time to myself where you don't know
You're
where
always
I
on that phone texting people.
Mm-hmm.
I know how much you love technology.
Instagarming.
Do the fast time.
Oh, this is just a business partner of mine.
Oh. We have to share a hotel room because we're trying to save money.
Never.
Yeah, never.
Never want to be in a fucking hotel again.
A half-hour railway journey. Turn left outside the station, 2 kilometers along the road, a gate with a top bar missing, a path across a field, a grass-grown lane, a track between bushes, a dead tree with moss on it. It was as though she had a map inside her head. Can you remember all that? She murmured finally. Yes. Turn left, then right, then left again. At the gates, got no top bar. And the gates got no top bar. Yes. What time? About 15. You may have to wait. I'll get there by another way. Are you sure you remember everything? Yes. Then get away from me as quick as you can. She farted. She need not have told him that. For the moment, they could not they could not extricate themselves from the crowd. The trucks were still filing past, the people still insatiably gaping. At the start, there had been a few boos and hisses, but it came only from party members among the crowd.
It kind of sucks that we'll never know in this world what Eurasia was like, or the
East
the
Asia,
two axes that we don't know about.
yeah,
Yeah,
Eurasia and East Asia.
Eurasia and East Asia. We know very little. That maybe one of them have like darker skinned people. I don't know what a Mongolian looks like, and we haven't had Mongolian looking people on the world or on the earth since Bob knows when, late 1800s, the last time that, because they look like, what are they called? People with Down syndrome.
When we playing that game now? Are they Down syndrome or Asian?
What? No. If you like look at what Mongolian people used to look, they had eyes that are really spread up, like a flatter face.
Yeah, like the Huns, kind of.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Weren't the Huns?
Maybe. There's plenty of Huns everywhere, though.
Goddamn Mongolians. Stop breaking down my shitty wall.
We don't know what Mongolian looks like to them. They could look like they could be Japanese people. They could be British people. We don't.
Well,
Indonesian people. Croatian people.
Africans. South Africans.
Yeah.
Bunch of Mongolians. Arcticies. The prevailing emotion was simply curiosity. Foreigners, whether from Eurasia or from East Asia, were a kind of strange animal.
1 second.
Okay. Oh, I turned the music off instead of just lowering it.
That's fine.
Okay. One literally never saw them except in the guise of prisoners. And even as prisoners, one never got more than a momentary glimpse of them. Nor did one know what became of them, apart from the few who were hanged as war criminals. The others simply vanished, presumably into forced labor camps. The round Mongol faces had given way to faces of a more European type. Dirty, bearded, exhausted. From over scrubby cheekbones, eyes looked into Winston's. Sometimes with strange intensity, and flashed away again. The convoy was drawing to an end. In the last truck, he could see an aged man, his face a mass of grizzled hair, standing upright with wrists crossed in front of him, as though he was used to having them bound together. It was almost time for Winston and the girl to part. But at the last moment, while the crowd still hemmed them in, her hand felt for his and gave it a fleeting squeeze. Ooh. She reached out and squeezed his fucking hand. And then when you squeeze my hand, you reach out and does stuff to me. I love that shit.
Do I do that?
Yeah, you usually don't reach out for me, baby. But, but when you do, I take notice.
I wish I could reach out for more often. They don't even know, or we don't even know as the reader, who these people are. They could just be...
You're talking about Winston or talking
Yeah.
about the... Okay.
Well, the people who are prisoners in Winston's world, they could just be his neighbors with dirt on them,
Yeah.
to make them look darker. Oh, look, it's the enemy.
Yeah.
Kind of scary how little we know. Sometimes, like, I remember reading this like a decade or two ago, or decade and a half ago, and presuming so many things. And then reading it again, like, why did I think that this was true? What perspective? Just because the narrator's saying it or because Winston's saying it doesn't necessarily mean they know what's going on in this confusing world. It just kind of shell shocked me a little bit.
Weird perspective.
Just like in WW2.
Just like in WW2. Not even Sabby can save them now.
Sabby can't even save his own goddamn channel. Poor guy.
Yeah. Fucking Brit Bong douchebag. It could not have been 10 seconds, and yet it seemed a long time that their hands were clasped together. 10 seconds is a pretty long time.
Yeah, especially when you're in a moment with someone.
Yeah. He had time to learn every detail of her hand. He explored the long fingers, the shapely nails, the work-hardened palm with its row of calluses, the smooth flesh under the wrist. Merely from feeling it, he would have known it by sight. In the same instant, it occurred to him that he did not know what color the girl's eyes were.
Oh, but he was thinking about it.
They were probably brown. But people with dark hair sometimes had blue eyes.
Even green eyes.
To turn his head to look at her would have been inconceivable folly. With hands locked together, invisible among the press of bodies, they stared steadily in front of them, and instead of the eyes of the girl, the eyes of the aged prisoner gazed mournfully at Winston out of the nest of hair. Now we're on chapter 10.
Was it for sure that guy was looking at Winston, I wonder? Oh, does Winston somehow attract these
thought criminals?
unique characters? Like Julia, like O'Brien. Simus, whatever his name is.
Syme, Syme. How the fuck you pronounce that? I don't know. I've had people look at me, and I think they were looking at me, and like they waved, and I waved back, and it turns out there's somebody behind me that they're. So.
Yeah, how can you know for sure? But
catching eyes.
The narrator, the second person view, has about as much information, I think, so far as Winston does. The narrator doesn't presume to know any more than Winston.
Yeah.
It's almost like Winston in a different point of view.
Yeah. Chapter 10. Winston picked his way up to the lane through the dappled light and shade, stepping out into pools of gold wherever the boughs parted. Under the trees to the left of them, the ground was misty with bluebells. The air seemed to kiss one's skin. Oh my. He doesn't talk about this way about in the city. Everything's gray and awful. But it was kissing my skin.
Yeah, and flowers, bluebells or whatever.
Yeah. Under the trees to the left of the bluebells, the air seemed to kiss one's skin. It was the 2nd of May. From somewhere deeper in the heart of the wood came the droning of ring doves. Is that like collar doves?
Is that Amazon doves? Is that circular doves? Is that sonic doves?
Hmm.
I don't understand your question.
The droning of ring doves. RING space DOVES.
Yeah.
So there are, like turtle doves. They're kind of like in the Christmas thing. There's collared doves. There's lots of
and white pigeons.
Yeah, and there are fucking pigeon doves. No. So,
I guess it's a different. I've never heard of them though.
I've heard and seen collared doves, and I'm wondering collar. They have a stripe that goes around their neck,
like a ring.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if those are the same thing. A ring dove and a collared dove.
Should we look it up?
Let's look it up, wife.
Probably many different kinds of doves.
You want to do it on this one, or should we do it on this one?
I'll do it on this one. It makes a lot of clicking noises, but it's not like anybody listens to us anyway.
He was a bit early. There had been no difficulties about the journey, and the girl was so evidently experienced that he was less frightened than he would normally have been.
Check that out. Ring-necked doves.
Looks like
yeah,
it looks like a collar dove.
And it looks more like a collar because it's not a ring completely around their neck. It's kind of like in the back of their neck.
Now let's look at collar dove and see if they're
Oh, look at like collard greens. How do you collar? Nope, not like that. Collar.
That looks like the same fucking bird.
It looks like the same pictures came up, yeah.
Collar doves. Eurasian? Ooh.
Oh, just like the 1984. Things you need to know about collared doves.
I need to know.
I'm so sick of people's dumbass fucking languages. Everybody was like, oh, fucking clickbait, stupid shit, blah, blah, blah. Now everybody just does it. Nobody held up to any moral or value. Didn't care about shit.
35 simple butt-touching facts about chimps.
You did the thing.
We did. I followed the formula. Now we're popular as ever. Which is still
outstanding. No. Outstanding ways to perform this? Did that work? I don't know.
I think so. It's a promise.
That's why nobody listens to us, because we're just fucking people. Oh, buy my brand, buy my merch. Hey guys.
God damn it.
Oh god, that poor guy. People really do fuck with him though.
Oh, bad. Fucking bad.
It's not they're like a blah 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 mental disorder. I don't think so. I think when people get hurt, they devolve kind of. They go somewhere where they have to challenge themselves to come out of it. And most people don't. Or most people just pretend. Oh, I have a college degree. I don't have a problem. Alright, stupid. Go cheat on your wife. With another dude.
I'm gay now.
I love him. My child was abductive, but I fell in love with a man, and that's more important. Motherfucker, a man abducted your fucking child. You probably loved it. You probably fantasized about it, you fucking creep.
Probably was in on it.
He is a piece of shit, and he's so delusional. What was the chick's name that got?
Was that Amy Smart? Emily Smart?
What's that? Smart?
Get Amy Smart?
Something very suspicious about it. Somebody should write a documentary about it on YouTube. I'm not a journalist, but I am a psychologist apparently. Let me fucking judge you and tell you everything. Fuck you.
I know all the answers. Presumably, she could have been trusted to find a safe place. In general, you could not assume that you were much safer in the country than in London. There were no telescreens, of course.
Oh shit! And then what's his face? They got oh shit, what's the word I'm looking for? Not lazy, but they started not taking the problem seriously. Winston is like, oh, let's just go to this place I rented out, or I can rent out. It's his fault they got in trouble. Or it's his fault that they got caught.
Well, I think this thing was planned from the beginning because isn't O'Brien the shopkeeper? Like he revealed.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying if they would have just not gone and slept in the shop, him and Julia going to where they did go.
Yeah, that probably hastened their doom. But Winston had already bought the diary from O'Brien.
Yeah, Julia didn't.
Yeah, so I guess there's
and maybe they wouldn't have fucked with him if they weren't getting so happy.
Yeah, maybe because they were just doing it, and that was tolerable. Yeah, Winston really fucked that up.
They didn't check for telescreens.
Nope. There were no telescreens, of course, but there were always dangers of concealed microphones by which your voice might be picked up and recognized. Besides, it was not easy to make a journey by yourself.
You could have told like this. I love you, Julia.
Oh my god. It was not easy to make a journey by yourself without attracting attention. For distances of less than 100 kilometers, it was not necessary to get your passport endorsed. But sometimes there were patrols hanging about the railway stations who examined the papers of any party member they found there and asked awkward questions. Did you wash behind your balls today, Winston? However, no patrols had appeared, and on the walk from the station, he had made sure by cautious backward glances that he was not being followed.
I don't understand how you could read this book and not be angry about all of the things that happened to you that were in the book. There are times, like, in Australia, I've seen especially where if you're walking down the street, I think I was watching some iDubbbz thing, walking down the street and cops would be like, where are you headed? None of your fucking business. What do you mean? You know?
Yeah. Can't just go about your fucking business.
Well, they don't have this book in Australia, but even here, it's like, oh, officer, excuse me, I don't want to talk to you, so can you tell me why you flashed your fucking lights at me? Or you're gonna lie because you need fucking commission? I gotta eat too, bro. I'm just doing my job, right? Fuck you.
I'm gonna put you in jail because I get a paycheck.
Too stupid to do anything right, but I got a gun. Listen, I don't care what you think about George Floyd. You don't the look on that fucking cop's face gets me every time. I don't like it. He's just so nonchalant. These fucking pigs will always assert authority to defend themselves rather than defend their character. Do their fucking job. Do something which is the best for everyone. Come to understand a situation instead of, well, I'll just fucking lock you both up. And
yeah, instead of making a grand, like, you were doing one thing, you were doing one thing. Instead of finding the truth, it's like, I've made a third country now, and I'm taking you both in.
I make decisions that affect your life, even though I have zero fucking brain cells to do it. Ugh.
The train was full of proles in holiday mood because of the summer. Oh, excuse me. Summery weather. The wooden-seated carriage in which he traveled was filled to overflowing by a single enormous family.
Do they get to take vacations? That's interesting.
The proles?
Yeah. I don't do the
party members do? No, probably not. Time off, you should be working.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're enjoying something? Thought criminal. Ranging from a toothless great-grandmother to a month-old baby, going out to spend an afternoon with the in-laws in the country. And as they freely explained to Winston to get hold of a little black market butter.
Ooh, black market. Again, so why is it black market butter? Because you can't fucking enjoy things? Because having a cow is...
Yeah. There are times it feels like that's what I gotta do when I gotta go grocery shopping. People don't got shit.
Yeah.
You know, how often? I was just trying to buy fucking celery.
And why is that? Why is it that there is so much unemployment and yet just regular old fucking commodities are impossible to find at times? In addition to that, the commodities that you do find, they're all under these weird company names. All of the vegetables are from the same place. Fucking Good Time Farms, Sunny Hill, fucking Fun Time Farms.
Sunkissed.
Well, I guess that's a fucking soda, but oh no, it's not just.
There's Sunkissed Farms. They do a lot of cucumbers, a lot of citrus, peppers. I've seen.
And I don't know nothing about them.
It's not like they're having bad. We haven't had bad weather.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason that
there
crops,
is reasons
that crops should be going bad. So, if the crops aren't going bad, then why are our crops not available? So then you go, well, they're not being paid for them, or they're doing, there's something wrong if stuff is available and it's either not arriving or arriving fucking disgusting.
Most of the shit does.
Or they're kept in the store absolutely disgusting.
They're picked too early and then just sat there because nobody wants that shit. Nobody wants a fucking a fruit that was picked too early. There's not going to be any fucking sugar.
No flavor. Oh, this shit sure is bland. Yeah, because you fucked it up.
Oh, the stores are responsible for fucking taking the place that they take. Oh, we're here to fucking blah, 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 blah. But standards go down, and they don't give a shit that now they're the only place in the fucking county because people fucking got... Was it priced out of existence?
Yeah, they got eliminated. They got pushed out. And the stores, you think, they tell you all the time, we bring you the freshest produce.
And why is that? Because fucking government and insurance or borrowers, lenders. The same problem in fucking Germany.
There's got some guy who goes in these things and go, hey, look at these. Oh, these are gross. Or takes a bite out of them and go, these are fucking awful. I don't want to put these in my store.
But there is a person that's supposed to... I remember when we were living over there, They wanted all this fucking college education so that you could be a sorcerer of the goods that are put in the store. They want you to have connections and do this and do that to find the to what is it? I don't know all these fucking official words to make a connection with a person with a product, whether it be milk or cheese or fucking fruits, vegetables, so that you go check the product and decide if it should be something that's sold at the store. What is it, a vendor, whatever. But they wanted like a fucking master's degree in
you don't need a master's
taste or some shit.
You don't need a master's degree to tell if something's fucking good.
Is it people want people with college educations because they don't want to be bothered to know the information themselves. You know if somebody knows something if you know it yourself. But you don't have to know shit if you just trust an idiot to get a pay. You don't know if that person sucked D to get their diploma.
I was earlier when I was washing dishes. I was thinking about some of this job stuff, and one of the things I applied for is it required a certain certification, which I didn't have. Still have an interview about it. But like what is that? What does that certification do? I think this is what I was thinking. I was thinking is that if looking for a certification is basically wanting someone else to do the work for me. I don't want to know what that is. I don't want to ask the questions. I just want to see you have a certification because somebody tells me that means that's good enough. I don't know what's good enough, so I can't test you to see if it's good enough.
Oh, you could always challenge them with that. Be like, hey, do you know what kind of information, you learn from this thing? Well, let me tell you what I know about it. And you tell me, do I really need a fucking... They make everything so computer generated so you go, oh, I gotta tick this or I can't let you through the system, Divide and conquer shit. Sorry, anyway.
How many people who just certifications are so stupid? They don't... Usually,
when I've had to get a certification, I didn't have to prove that I knew shit. It just, you just go through this thing, you watch it, and you leave. It's like, oops, I fell asleep, Paying for these things, and then taking, like, these what color was George Washington's white horse type shit. And sometimes people's lives are on it. Oh, do you know how to do CPR, or do you know how to do this for someone who's having a seizure, or...
That pay thing is fucking ridiculous too, especially in the field that I've chosen to be in. It's basically the test doesn't contain all that much knowledge. It's basically though, oh, I see that you paid $500 to take a test. It's like
when I could have just researched it, because information had to originate from someone somewhere, right? So the information is available without having to have someone tell you it, for one, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like everything is so fucking corrupt, and because there are reasons or excuses or too bads or you have to do this anyway, they take full advantage of it. Like schools. Why do these corrupt fucking systems, these publishers who somehow have the authority to say this is what you should be teaching children, to come out every so often with a new fucking thing where they change a comma somewhere? People want to bitch about Scientology for shit like this. Oh, Scientology, they always make you pay thousands of dollars for a new books or a new library. every couple of years or every year, and they don't change it. Some years they change literally nothing. Okay, so you have a grievance with that? Now take that grievance wherever it fucking shows up. Wherever that system shows up. It shows up in fucking colleges, shows up in fucking all fucking aspects of education.
Yeah.
All aspects of every fucking thing that you learn from someone else. They go, oh, we made a revision because we want, that's the biz, you know?
Uh-huh.
So if anybody's going to bitch about science, and that's why you can't take down something like Scientology. It's so obtuse in its corruption, because the corruption is obtuse everywhere else and you're just not paying attention. So if you go, hey government, these people are doing bad things, it's like, well, we do it too, so I don't see anything wrong with it. So then just blame the small guy for getting indoctrinated. Blame the people who are doing it right here, but don't see the whole system as something that needs to be dealt with every time, because there's so many people. Scientology sucks. Fucking the Leah Ramey thing. There's so many attacks even against Scientology alone. That if you were, and it gets so much coverage, that if you include, like, hey, we see it here, but we also see it in all of these places. So we can't just say that Scientology is bad because they do this, because everybody's doing it. It either changes that they can't use that, they won't use it as a reason to vilify a group or some sort of system, or everybody's got to face the music, Bill and Ted style, old and CGI'd.
And have their daughters do it.
Yeah.
Stupid. Absolutely stupid. Infuriating. Infuriating as well.
It's all fucking like this mob. Everything is a mob mentality.
And if I'm part of the mob, then I have the power.
Whatever is, so everything is okay until somebody convinces you somehow that it's not okay, and now you see two sides. So everything is good until it's considered bad. What a coincidence that we just so happen to be doing this fucking, every once in a while we're finding some dirt about someone and then canceling them. That cancel culture, because everything's okay until it's not fucking okay. And that's how fucking laws are written. That everything's okay until we have to sit here and find the nuances of this and that because two people are arguing.
Laws.
There's no foresight.
No. Laws do that. They take responsibility away from the people acting. It's like, or that are involved.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just like a certification. I want you to do the laws there so I don't have to do the work of knowing all the things to be able to protect myself. Or they do the right thing.
They drown. All these fields, law and education, then education about the law. Oh my God. They drown it with information so that somebody has to spend their whole fucking life dedicating themselves to understanding this shit. Everybody's just kind of pushed off into the fucking abyss and it's like, good luck. Whoever fucking tells you what things are, that's what things are until somebody else tells you different, I was thinking, oh, fuck. there's a nonsensicalness to all of it. That if somebody even just sits there, just take a couple months every couple of days to just find new bits of information from different perspectives and just keep bouncing back and forth, you go, hold the fuck on. Should I be measuring not only myself, but the world around me, measuring it by what other people say? Or should I be listening to what all these crazy people are saying, right? Just hear it out and then observe what they're supposedly observing myself. Let's see what kind of information I get back. And none of this fucking follow the trigs or genuinely doing the things, not knowing when you don't know, knowing that you might not know even though you think you might not know, is constantly overflowing yourself with stuff. Eventually a pattern will emerge, because patterns emerge for everyone. Everybody has a fear that they had as a child, or a weird thought that they had as a child, that everybody, like when I was little, everybody dies on their birthday. Because you start here, you end here. You know, it says a lot about a person, and then when you slowly evolve all those, you think about the things that you thought about when you were little, reason away all those things, and you eventually form, I don't know, a pattern, a view of the world that you can not go crazy about. Oh, and maybe I'm Jesus because I'm the only one that's thought about the, you know, or Gale, or
Yeah.
or the Boglin, fucking. They have a thought. People have a thought, and then they stick to it, or they don't. They don't really break it down. They don't dive into it because it could lead to madness. Unfortunately, but that's where you have to know. You have to start measuring. And if you're not measuring all the actions that everybody in the world does equally, you can't say, oh, this is bad, making people pay money for a book that hasn't changed, but kick them out, or make it a requirement, and not see how that affects people in other places. Then what is the fucking truth? It's just, this is bad here because they were bad in other ways. Then you can't use that thing,
it's just
against them.
Everything is compartmentalized.
Yeah.
It's only bad in this one situation. Like, it's bad in many things. It's, you're seeing the wrong shape.
I don't know if anybody really thinks about having like a universal scope.
No, you're told to focus, and you down. And every time, I think, when it's appropriate to do the reflection, taking the step back, you're not supposed.
You have nowhere to go. How can you reflect when your mirror is shattered?
Yeah, I was gonna say there's that separation, that so you can't take a step back and see how this.
It's too maddening. It's like, that world doesn't make sense. That world is not for me. Yeah, right?
Yeah. People are taught to do these things that maybe it is like glass or a mirror or whatever, see your reflection, but every time they're told,
how isn't it?
Smash it like a hammer.
Not necessarily smashing it, but it's because this is an imagination. It's an analogy.
Yeah.
A mirror is created to reflect what is opposite of it. However, we were predetermined. We were born that way, to see reflection. So the reflection can grow, and as it's growing, there are splits. I mean, when's the last time there hasn't been a split? Especially with like religion and stuff. What?
I'm thinking.
Oh. You were looking at things. I thought you were reading something. You cannot measure the world around you in the most, what's the best word for it? Absolute way, well, uncorrupt or undirtified.
It's pure.
In the
It's
purest
pure.
way. Because there is no pure. You're always going to have to use, because people are going to exist. You're always going to have that bit of corruption. You have to see the fracture and the not fracture. Those are the two extremes, right?
Yeah. That's funny. So you got to have the little bit of the other side. We were reading that thing on 4chan last night. You have to be fully good and fully evil.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
No. but have to lean towards the side of good.
There is something outside of our control that is a little good and a little bad. Where that's sourced is wholly selfish. It's not about being good and bad. It's about what you can get away with, or your pain tolerance, or your where you find your comfort. And being like, if I don't like hold on. If I don't like people, I'm thinking being a child and not liking when people confront me meanly, like I would not do it, because chances are, if I do it, or I can do it, try it out, and then somebody brings it back to me, it's like, oh shit, well, I caused that. It's like, I don't want that. All of that in and out is very important to consider. And you think anybody fucking consider shit?
No.
It's like so fucking crazy. I think about that, the Boglin, right? That poor little slanty-eyed Boglin. Yeah, he has an ego, and I think he did it as a defense. I haven't watched all the things that have ever existed, but I don't think he was like that when he was younger. King Cobra,
Yeah.
When people do like the really nasty things to him,
yeah,
and people find it funny, of course I find it funny too, but it's like, what if I was in that position?
Yeah.
I wouldn't, if my goal, and it would never be, because fuck that, to have to go through that shit and to try to make a living doing YouTube, the tubes, so instead of just going, well, fuck this, like, this isn't something that I want in my life, just like I don't want Scientology in my life, I'm gonna fucking leave. Or I'm gonna make a decision to stay. If you make a decision to stay, that can go in a million different places. If you don't have a good reason, then you'll probably just gain some sort of defense, right? It's, oh, these trolls do this to me, so I'm gonna do something else. That's how these things always fucking perpetuate, is I'm gonna do something that is a reaction to these people. These people infect the areas that they troll, and in bad ways normally. There's a difference between, like, if you don't understand, because I want to say, like, there's a good time to troll and a bad time to troll.
There's a purpose to bullying, but like there's no purpose to this. This is mean spirited. It's not getting the guy to change the behavior. Not like, hey, nerd. Or
I'm sure there was some cockiness, and but it's a forever battle. It's not.
There's no resolution. It's just a forever conflict.
Yes. The reason for if someone is if you can ignore someone, like, I don't fucking like these things. There's them. It's time now for conversation. It's now time, because people will lower themselves. The people who at one point thought that they were better than someone, who could be better than someone in certain aspects because they were able to get a reaction out of someone. But that is now turning you into someone who's getting reactions out of people, and you're putting yourself into these situations and causing these reactions that are now perpetuating just this reverberation of fucking war. So now what are you? You're just as bad. And now you're made this thing that if the bullying thing was to get this person to shut the fuck up, you've made him louder. You've made him more popular. And now, like, so we just laugh at people? And now we don't understand, like, oh, well, if you say something that reminds me of this guy, I'm gonna treat you the same. Now you have the authority to fucking judge people? You had the authority to judge this person to begin with? How much did you look inside yourself before you started this bullshit?
Not at all.
They don't see that. So who does Chris Chan deserve what he went through?
No.
People got a reaction out of him, and in a small place that it is what it is, but it's become like international. Internationally, we're remembering humanity as a bunch of assholes making fun of assholes.
Yeah, what a great thing to make a monument
thousands
of.
and thousands of people are fucking watching these things every day. That time is not being valued. Oh yeah, I get the lulz once in a while. Okay, fine. But when does it stop? When does it? Because I'm not gonna watch the same fucking thing. Things age, right? When you watching Nick Swardsden when you're stoned and 21. Okay, fart, poop, poop. But there's more to life. And if you're holding yourself in the past by laughing at this kid from this time doing this thing, you're there still. You haven't understood anything enough for it to not affect you. When you watch Nick Swardsden and you see the mannerisms that he does to get the joke,
yeah,
you get over it. Fucking how funny is Dane Cook to anybody now? Oh, you gotta do this a little bit, or Joe Rogan. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It gets old.
Yeah.
And everybody's saying that everybody's looking for realness.
I don't believe it.
I don't fucking believe you. Because there's a way to measure it and I don't see anybody fucking measuring. What, am I the crazy one for thinking we can measure things just like we can measure other things?
The closest ones to the real ones are those psychos.
Yeah, that's why I'm so interested in the people who have haters. And I understand where they, like today, that DSP guy, the Dark Side Phil.
Yeah.
I remember watching the Into the Rabbit Hole about him. Don't remember anything about him. I remember that people don't like him. That's it. I remember he's the dude who went live like as he was coming.
Oh my.
And I'm listening to him talking to these people interviewing him. And I'm like, he has a good point. And I think he has a good point because the people who are talking to him are talking in a different direction. Instead of trying to understand, it's always about understanding. If you're interviewing someone, even if you don't agree with them, come to the understanding first. Is this what you're saying? And it was still just a bunch of dudes just walking like Julia and fucking Winston with like not looking at each other. But they're all saying kind of different things.
And nobody's answering each other's questions. Nobody's getting to understand it.
Well, yeah. Because they make it about not the facts. They make it about culture. They make it about, well, now is the time people don't say these things. Explain yourself. That's not trying to understand. No. I'm pretty sure they use the word literally explain yourself. So he does. And I haven't went out and proved it that was what this game was about. But I'm pretty sure if you fucking lie that heavily, people hate him so much, they're gonna say something about it in the comments. Like, that's not even what the game was. What a fucking lie.
Oh.
Sorry. I was rubbing my... Because I'm meditating.
I'm meditating.
So he says it was like a child trafficking, or because the little girl was black and the cop was taking the little girl somewhere from the guy. You're probably gonna make her a slave. And they're like, how inappropriate, bro. And he's like, the story, you took it out of context. The story was about a corrupt cop. So it doesn't matter if she's fucking black or white. Or even, hey, slavery was a thing. You want to forget about that? Then fuck you. You know?
Yeah.
Don't tell me what history wasn't. So what? So now you're gonna make, is the joke funny or unfunny, or what? Why is it still now about like the inappropriateness? I couldn't get over. I just stopped watching. But now a person who's I am the one who doesn't hate everyone who's hated. I don't hate that guy anymore. I don't like people at all. And his stupid shtick, whatever, everybody has a stupid shtick. And I don't like any of it. So if he has one, I also don't like it. But now, he was on this thing. Now I'm going through who he is in my head as just some person. And there was some telling information that there's no reason to deny. He says he was on YouTube and he was fucking around at first because it was like 15 years ago. He didn't plan on making it
his career.
A career because he had
a job.
A job.
A hijab.
A hijab. Regardless of if that's true or not, we are people who fuck around on YouTube to see if anything will, unless he came in with a company already, or you are just fucking around. It doesn't matter if you have the intent or not. You're going to be
fucking around because you don't know yet.
Yeah. How do you interact with people when there are potentially billions, but right now there's none?
And nobody changes with time.
And then the people are fucked up. Both sides are fucked up, and they're confused, and they don't know, and I know that, and I don't need fucking Philip or anybody to fucking tell me that, you know? I didn't know at the time. I know you didn't know, you know? So, now someone who was apparently called one of the most hated people on the internet, I am his first not hater. I don't give a shit about watching him, but I don't hate him. And it sucks because these people are viewed by... I'm the only person who walks around the internet just trying to understand people as opposed to being a fan or...
a hater.
A hater, yeah. I'm not there to pick sides. There are things that are obvious that sometimes are funny, and I try to interact with those people, but then, like the fucking Mr. Snowflake. Something about how he was judging Amber Lynn and listening, he didn't know what to think about this thing, and he listened to all these fucking bitches in his comments. No proof, just, obviously, this is just a thing that she... You know, all that fucking, allegorical shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, am I yelling and...
Yeah, you're a little loud, but... it's okay.
And it's like you are influencing people. I don't know why and they don't know they're influencing people because they're being influenced themselves. The YouTubers are just as stupid as the people who watch them. Except... a lot of the times, the people who are being watched, their heads are gassed. Yeah. So now I have an opinion, and I do better research because I'm the one that has the better editor that can make a video that people want to fucking watch. I don't think so, buddy. Cha, you know what?
Womp womp.
Kikariki.
Finding the patterns.
Everybody, it's like I don't know how to interact with people because everybody is doing everything wrong. And they don't want to see why it's wrong. Because there is something right to do. And it's not fucking saving the environment, whatever fucking joining Leonardo DiCaprio on his yacht to fight climate change. All of that stuff... Don't worry about it. It will become apparent once you start fucking understanding yourself. When you understand yourself and you give yourself the value and you work for that value, you start seeing the value of everything else. So, whatever. So all these people have all these things to say on the internet, and I just want to tell them, everybody, you're stupid. You're stupid. You don't know nothing.
You don't know nothing. You're retarded.
There's like no argument can be made where people really go, oh, you know what, that makes sense though. Rarely do I get someone who is like, I will think about that. Watching this fucking food review guy, or like he was a commenter on somebody else. And that other guy, I fucking hate that Jack guy. The one with the stroke. He's like, I'm making raw chicken and saying it's not raw.
Oh, yeah. With the bread bowl.
Yeah, this fucking guy goes on about how expensive the tomato sauce is. It's like, okay, so what? You know? He's making fucking trash and he has fucking money and he's getting it from a fucking jar anyway, whatever. He's talking about the differences between, I don't know what the difference between a stromboli and a calzone is. However, I'm a better Italian cook than him. And also, there's a difference between a bread bowl and a pot pie. Motherfucker, how do you expect other people to be good at words when you yourself are not good at words?
Yeah. Watching that video with you, the guy just
I tried to be like
up his own ass.
Yeah. And then he's like, well, I never shopped at what motherfucker? Who hasn't shopped at Walmart? Would you have a farm? Get out of here. I mean, it doesn't matter. Maybe he never shopped at Walmart, but fucking Walmart cheese is Sargento cheese, is fucking Tillamook cheese. It's all the fucking same. It's all the fucking same. It's all the same fucking boiled milk fucking additive fucking bullshit. Unaged fucking nasty commercial fucking cheese.
Yeah.
I hesitated to call it fucking cheese. A whole new world. A dazzling place I never knew.
Made with citric acid.
Tasting cheeses, but I was kind of lucky because I grew up with better cheese. That's about the only. We still ate fucking peas from a can. But we still bought like the fucking polio mozzarella, whatever. But when we would go to the good places, having that fresh mozzarella that was made there, you knew the difference, you know?
Yeah.
Us getting that fucking German Gruyere, oh my goodness. Even the stuff we got across the place from the supermarket, it was. I wish it didn't have so much mold on it. We should have like shaved it off instead of just keeping it in that thing. Because when you split it open and we got it split open, so it was already. It doesn't matter. But you could taste the difference that it wasn't fucking boiled cheese. That there was stuff going on there.
Yeah.
I feel it in my gut from when I was younger to now. Having things going on in my body that isn't just bleaching my insides all the time. Fucking antibiotic, antibacterial, homogenized, blah, blah, blah. So this is, I mean, like, 2,000 people. And even someone in the comment was like, oh, I was waiting so long for, like, are you not even listening? Are you just, like, saying, because it was a girl, are you just, like, thinking about your problems with this guy and not even listening to what this person you're listening to is saying? Because he's not saying anything. I mean, the dude is a dick. And who fucking puts green peppers in a fucking pizza?
Your Stromboli's boiling over there, wife.
I'm fucking calzoning out.
Get that pasta rage.
Like, you could even see that he didn't even know why things are called different things. And what our problem is right now with so many people calling, like, that wasn't a fucking pot pie. Because it wasn't in a pot, for one. It did. But also, what has been a pot pie throughout the ages? Was there an undercrust always? Or is a pot pie one of those hand pocket things? Or, like, did it evolve into... There's a history to the words that we use. And there's a power to the words that we use. So if
it can mean anything, then you've lost.
I bet you people think like a calzone could be like a calzone is a pizza you roll up. Motherfucker, no. That's a pizzone that you get at fucking Pizza Hut. But do I know what a calzone is just because my mother has made it, or because I've seen it traditionally like this? There's a general consensus, even though that they may all have gotten their information wrong, and Stromboli started here and it was this originally. It's like
the problem with telling people what is a Stromboli,
and they want to know what words people are using now, and it's like, really, who cares? Because people can change words right now all the time, like vaccination. They can change the definition of words now. You have to know, you have to give words value. And this guy was not giving anybody anything fucking value. Except his own fucking Italian cooking, apparently. Good luck making good Italian food using Walmart fucking ingredients or using any fucking shit you get at a store. It all fucking is gross. It doesn't matter if you fry the onions really good. If the onions fucking suck. If you saute this, if the thing you're sauteing is fucking, if the piece of meat that you're using is shit, if the milk you're using is the cheese you're using is shit, it's not gonna taste as good. Or you're gonna disillusion yourself into thinking this is what things are supposed to taste like. That's why I always wanted to try like Gordon Ramsay's cooking, just to see what he exactly thinks.
I think I missed him. Dang it. Finding good produce, even among the farm stands, is difficult sometimes.
Because nobody cares anymore. The value of everything is being... It's like, whatever, I'm gonna die anyway. Even everybody, the atheists and the Christians, they're the same now, and they don't even see it. Whatever, I'll die. Just let me die.
It's just fucking it up for everybody else. It's pulling everybody back. Every person who does that.
Yeah.
So basically, everybody's pulling you back, wife. I don't think there's anybody who's
Why
going
not
the way
believe you can live forever?
To do so realistically.
Why not work towards that if you love life so much? That's why some electrons and protons are still being enslaved for energy use, and some of them become the fucking sun. Right?
Yeah.
If everything is just energy, so if everything in the beginning was just energy, it was all the same stuff. And then they evolved into something different. Grouped up into things until we got to Earth. But oh, aliens. Why not think you're special? And why not try to prove to yourself that you're special? That's what I did. I still didn't. Right? It was always...
You always questioned it.
Everybody can do everything that I do. There are smarter people. I have to challenge myself to see people as smart or not smart, or whatever it takes to, whatever the opposite is that I think first off, because nobody thinks probably the right thing first off. It's just a thing in your brain. You have to work to do that. Right now, everybody, whatever just comes in the brain is what it is.
Oh. Israel didn't do anything bad. That must be true. Is what it is. I heard that first.
What?
Just an example of something somebody takes in, and that's one of them things. It is what it is.
Once in a while, people will get like this inkling that something isn't right, and they'll decide to look for it. But once you deny that inkling a few times, you won't get it again. Maybe you'll get fucking a concussion or go to war and someone will change your life, and then, everything will be put into question, but just out of your control. Now that thing that would question stuff is killing you.
Speaking of killing me, wife, we're out of liquids.
Oh, okay.
I think we may need a be right back situation while we get rehydrated.
Okay.
Unless you wanted to sit here and read.
It depends. Do you want me to sit here and read?
Nah, let's take a...
Tara read.
Oh, no, we're taking a be right back break. Banana. Da-na-na. We're back. Should we continue to read, wife, or did I blow up your train of thought?
That's the same thing. Both of those decisions are the same thing.
Do you can you continue on with your thoughts? No.
I got nothing. I don't know if there was anything.
Oh.
Maybe we were done.
Maybe we're done?
Maybe we were done.
Oh.
Fuck the police.
Fuck the po-pos.
You want to fucking let somebody rule over you who's dumber than you. Yeah, maybe they aren't dumber than you. They're dumber than us.
So these people were trying to buy black market border. The lane widened, and in a minute he came to the footpath she had told him of. A mere cattle track which plunged between the bushes. He had no watch, but it could not be 15 yet. The bluebells were so thick underfoot that it was impossible not to tread on them. He knelt down and began picking some, partly to pass the time away, but also from a vague idea that he would like to have a bunch of flowers to offer the girl when they met.
Aw.
He had got together a big bunch and was smelling their faintly sickly scent when a sound at his back froze him, the unmistakable crackle of a foot on twigs. He went on picking bluebells. It was the best thing to do. It might be the girl, or he might have been followed after all. To look around was to show guilt. He picked another and another. A hand fell lightly on his shoulder.
Stop, criminal scum.
He looked up. It was the police. It was Sting.
It was Stain?
Sting from the police.
Oh. I'm watching you.
He looked up. It was the girl. She shook her head, evidently as a warning that he must keep silent, then parted the bushes and quickly led the way along the narrow track into the wood. Obviously, she had been that way before, for she dodged the boggy pits as though by habit. Winston followed, still clasping his bunch of flowers. His first feeling was relief, but as he watched the strong, slender body moving in front of him, the scarlet sash that was just tight enough to bring out the curve of her hips, the sense of his own inferiority was heavy upon him. Even now, it seemed quite likely that when she turned around and looked at him, she would draw back after all. The sweetness of the air and the greenness of the leaves daunted him. Already on the walk from the station, May's sunshine had made him feel dirty and etiolated. I don't know what that means.
Titillated.
Etiolated. Etiolated.
Shall I look it up?
Yeah. Dirty and etiolated. T-I-L lated.
You want a piece of this while we're...
Sure. Thank you, wife.
Etiolated. Etiolate. To cause a plant, in parentheses, to develop without chlorophyll by preventing exposure to light. To cause to appear pale and sticky. Oh, sickly.
Dirty and pale and sickly.
To make weak by stunting the growth or development of.
The sunshine made him feel dirty and stunted the growth.
The sun made him feel like he hasn't been healthy.
Mm.
Or that the sun is making him unhealthy. I guess he wouldn't know the difference.
A creature of indoors,
Hmm.
with the sooty dust of London in the pores of his skin. It occurred to him that till now she had probably never seen him in broad daylight in the open. They came to the fallen tree that she had spoken of. The girl hopped over and forced apart the bushes, in which there did not seem to be an opening. When Winston followed her, he found that they were in a natural clearing, a tiny grassy knoll surrounded by tall saplings that shut it out completely. The girl stopped and turned. "Here we are," she said. He was facing her at several paces' distance. As yet he did not dare move near her. "I didn't want to say anything in the lane," she went on, "in case there's a Mike hidden there." The book spells Mike like Mike, like the guy. With a hidden Mike. "Hey, what you doing?" I don't suppose there is, but there could be. There's always a chance of one of those swine recognizing your voice. We're all right here. He still had not the courage to approach her. "We're all right here," he repeated stupidly. "Yes, look at the trees. They're right," with a smile on her face that looked faintly ironical, as though she were wondering why he was so slow to act. The bluebells
Oh,
had...
shit.
What?
KBS 0.
Oh.
What the hell?
Alright, apparently we're having some Twitch issues.
Twitch use. Oh, shit. And now it's just back? It's probably gonna keep going, or...
Yeah, everything seems to be going alright.
Great. Thanks, internet.
Yeah. The bluebells had cascaded onto the ground. They seemed to have fallen on their own accord. He took her hand. "Would you believe," he said, "that till this moment I didn't know what color your eyes were?"
Would you believe it?
"They were brown," he noted. "A rather light shade of brown, with dark lashes. Now that you've seen what I'm really like, can you still bear to look at me?" "Yes, easily." "I'm 39 years old. I've got a wife that I can't get rid of. I've got varicose veins. I've got 5 false teeth." "I couldn't care less," said the girl. The next moment, it was hard to say by whose act, she was in his arms. At the beginning, he had no feeling except sheer incredulity. What the fuck that mean, wife? I feel like I'm so dumb.
What? How do you spell it?
INCR
INCR
ED.
ULITD.
Titty.
TY, I mean.
Yeah.
TD, incredulity. The state or quality of being incredulous. Disbelief.
Being in disbelief. Okay.
Or distrust, doubt, so it's not just disbelief. Okay.
All right. The youthful body was strained against his own. The mass of dark hair was against his face. And yes, actually, she had turned her face upward and was kissing the wide kissing the wide red mouth.
Ooh.
Doing some mouth kissing. She had clasped her arms around his neck. She was calling him darling, precious one, loved one.
Already. That went hot and heavy real quick.
Fucking love bomb.
They love bombed each other. Because they get hate bombed everywhere else.
Yeah.
That's gotta hurt him so bad. Like physically being that. Because they're not gonna do it, I think, already. He's gonna walk home stiff as a board frickin' for 3 days.
How do you mentally not show that?
Yeah. Men are always exposed. I guess they just have to punch their wiener or something. In public, though? Maybe... I don't know. How would dudes even deal with, like, random boners? Just not have the thoughts?
How's that?
Tape it to their leg every day? Maybe the pants, the overalls, they're saggy, so... And being so unhealthy all the time, they probably don't have to worry about that much.
Nobody's get too many boners.
No. It's just Winston.
Then who's making more party members?
On those rare occasions, they try real hard. And got so far.
The end of the rope. And then the cookie crumbled.
Mm-hmm.
Like the matzah in my throat.
Well, if you let me read. Too bad women in this country aren't allowed to read. To learn how to read.
You're not supposed to be literate. If anyone found out. Oh shit, this mic was on.
Who say that in the microphone?
He had pulled her down onto the ground. She was utterly...
Wow.
Utterly unresisting. I'm dying over here. Oi. She was utterly unresisting. He could do what he liked with her.
How do you know that? Feels it in her body.
But the truth was that he had no physical sensation except that of mere contact. He had no physical sensation except of that. So he couldn't tell she was warm. What other physical sensation?
Maybe he'll say.
He couldn't tell texture.
He wasn't thinking about anything else. Wasn't thinking about the grass or.
All he felt was incredulity and pride. So he's got to pride now. Went from disbelief to disbelief and pride.
That's a weird combination.
I'm so proud that I can't believe this happened. He was glad that this was happening, but he had no physical desire. It was too soon.
Oh, maybe like he didn't have
It
a
was,
boner?
yeah, maybe he's like, maybe other things like, I don't want to bang you right now. I got other things.
Like, I just want to enjoy this?
Maybe.
Hmm.
Uh, it was too soon. Her youth and prettiness had frightened him. He was too much used to living without women. He did not know the reason. The girl picked herself up and pulled a bluebell out of her hair. She sat against him, putting her arm around his waist. Never mind, dear. There's no hurry. We've got the whole afternoon. Isn't this a splendid hideout? I found it when I got lost once on a community hike. If anyone was coming, you could hear them 100 meters away. What is your name? Said Winston. Julia. I know yours. It's Winston. Winston Smith. How did you find that out? I expect I'm better at finding things out than you are, dear.
How did she learn the words, my darling and dear? Maybe it's still in the movies? It's not just all comrade?
Maybe.
Hmm.
How much... So Winston was alive before the party took over.
He was young, though, like 8 years old. Something like that.
Is Julia 8 years younger than he is?
At least. I think more.
Okay.
She's like 26, maybe, and he's 38.
39. Right? Yeah. 39 is the type of age. So,
give or take a year.
how do I leave off here?
Winston
So
Smith.
yeah, so he's she would have no clue about non-party existence.
Mm-hmm. Still being that rebel.
She didn't survive 9/11. That's for sure.
Fucking 1984 is 1984's Anne Frank.
Tell me, what do you think? What did you think of me before that day I gave you the note? He did not feel any temptation to tell lies to her. It was even a sort of love offering to start off by telling the worst. I hated the sight of you, he said. I wanted to rape you, then murder you afterwards.
Wow. You know how I said I love you? I'm wondering.
2 weeks ago, I thought seriously of smashing your head with a cobblestone. If you really want to know, I imagine that you had something to do with the thought police. The girl laughed delightedly, evidently taking this as a tribute to the excellence of her disguise. Not the thought police. You didn't honestly think that. Well, perhaps not exactly that, but from your general appearance, merely because you're young and fresh and healthy, you understand. I thought that probably... You thought I was a good party member, pure in word and deed. Banners, processions, slogans, games, community hikes, all that stuff. And you thought that if I had a quarter of a chance, I'd denounce you as a thought criminal and get you killed off? Yes, something of that kind. A great many young girls are like that, you know. This is the bloody thing that does it, she said, ripping off the scarlet sash of the Junior Anti-Sex League and flinging it onto a bow.
A what?
Bough.
A what? I have to.
Isn't that or maybe it's I'm saying it wrong. Bow,
Bough.
part of a tree.
A tree branch, especially a large or main branch. Ah. An obsolete spelling of bow. Bow. I don't think that there was a bow and arrow bow.
Bow,
Bow.
bow. Oh, it's anti-sex league and flung it to the onto a bow. Then, as though touching her waist had remained as though touching her waist
When
had
the bow
remained.
breaks, the cradle will fall.
Oh, the bow.
Why are you
Bow.
putting your baby in a tray?
What a bunch of sickos.
I never knew that. I never thought of that, I never had the opportunity to associate the word and what that word is. Much like people with other words, they don't even know. When the bow breaks, the cradle will fall.
Down comes little Letitia, weaving all.
All right. You ain't singing that shit to our kids. What kind of weird thing to have like these like songs, right? That your parents or something, or even like a fucking CD will sing.
There's that tune will play on auto rockers like for babies.
Yeah, but not with the words, right?
Yeah, not with the words.
When do they learn the words? That shit is so weird. It's just some shit that's there. Why? I guess it doesn't really matter, but it's kind of crazy, right? That okay, thanks for making that forcing that to be a part of my life.
Yeah, it's just one of those things people continue on doing because the generation before them told them to do it. It's like teaching.
It feels the way like my brain wanted to say it at first. It feels so cringe to think about me doing the things that people did before me. It doesn't feel, I don't know, I have no attachment to it. And there's a lot of people we know that has forced attachments to things. I don't know, makes you think. That's how they get you.
Thinking. Ooh.
Bow.
Then, as though touching her waist had reminded her of something, she felt in the pocket of her overalls and produced a small slab of chocolate. She broke it in half and gave one of the pieces to Winston.
Aw.
Even before he had taken it, he knew by the smell that it was very unusual chocolate. It was dark and shiny. It was wrapped in silver paper. Chocolate was normally dull brown, crumbly stuff that tasted, as near as one could describe it, like the smoke of a rubbish fire. Ew. But at some time or another, he had tasted chocolate like the piece she had given him. The first whiff of its scent had stirred up some memory which he could not pin down, but which was powerful and troubling. Where did you get this stuff? He said. Black market, she said indifferently. Actually, I'm that sort of girl. I am that sort of girl to look at. I'm good at games. I was a troop leader in the Spies. I do voluntary work 3 evenings a week for the Junior Anti-Sex League. Hours and hours I've spent pasting, pasting? Pasting.
Yeah, I think pasting.
Pasting their bloody rot all over London.
Yeah. Like pasting advertisements?
Yeah. I always carry one end of a banner in the procession. I always look cheerful and I never shirk anything. Always yell at with the crowd. That's what I say. It's the only way to be safe.
What a reverse role.
Just to go with everything. To be one of them.
Yeah, and be aware of it and be a chick? I don't know.
The first fragment of chocolate had melted on Winston's tongue. The taste was delightful. But there was still memory moving round the edges of his consciousness, something strongly felt, but not reducible to defined shape, like an object seen out of the corner of one's eye. He pushed it away from him, aware only that it was the memory of some action which he could have liked to undo, but could not. You are very young, he said. You are 10 or 15 years younger than I am. What could you see to attract you in a man like me? It was something in your face. I thought I'd take a chance. I'm good at spotting people who don't belong. As soon as I saw you, I knew you were against them.
The opposite of what Winston did, thought she was the criminal and is fantasizing about O'Brien. Meanwhile, as soon as this chick is like, I love you, he's like, I love you too. Yeah, not thinking about O'Brien, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And not going, oh, is she gonna... hoping that she doesn't not love him anymore? Or instead of hoping she's not the thought police. That's where he's that I love you is like for sure. But does she still love me as opposed to did she lie? You know?
Yeah.
Kind of crazy. A weird thought experiment story.
Yeah, it's fun to see the opposite way
He changes. He completely shifts his mindset.
Yeah. The way she's so different. Them.
Oh yeah, she's like unique.
Yeah. Them, it appeared, meant the party, and above all, the inner party, for whom she talked with an open jeering hatred which made Winston feel uneasy, although he knew that they were safe here if they could be safe anywhere. A thing that astonished him about her was the coarseness of her language. Party members were supposed not to swear, and Winston himself Winston himself very seldom did swear out loud.
When did she swear?
I don't think she said anything yet, but she is talking about it, and he's saying he's being coarse. I think it's a conversation we haven't heard yet. Julia, however, seemed unable to mention the party, and especially the inner party, without using the kind of words that you saw chalked up in dripping alleyways. He did not dislike it. It was merely one symptom of her revolt against the party and all its ways, that somehow it seemed natural and healthy, like the sneeze of a horse that smells bad hay. Do horses smell bad hay?
Is there bad hay? It's just fucking dry grass.
And it makes him sneeze?
Why would bad... If there is bad grass, dried grass, why would it make you sneeze?
Well, it would make a horse sneeze.
And what does a regular sneeze look like as opposed to a sneeze because of bad hay? Like, those are too many questions to me. That is something I can't relate to. And also, what the fuck does he know about horses and hay?
What is the evolution benefit of...
He lives in fucking an apartment building. He was like 8 when the Great War started.
Yeah, the purges and shit.
His dad, when his dad was alive, when he went into that shelter, he was like younger. He like barely remembers it. But when the party took over, I think he was like 8. From what I remember. But it doesn't matter. Too much.
Fucking bad hay. They had left the clearing and were wandering again through the checkered shade, with their arms around each other's waists whenever it was wide enough to walk 2 abreast. He noticed how much softer her waist seemed to feel now that the sash was gone. They did not speak above a whisper. Outside the clearing, Julia said it was better to go quietly. Presently, they had reached the edge of the little wood. She stopped him. Don't go out into the open. There might be someone watching. We're all right if we keep behind the boughs. Then they were standing in the shade of hazel bushes. The sunlight, filtering through innumerable leaves, was still hot on their faces. Winston looked out into the field beyond and underwent a curious, slow shock of recognition. He knew it by sight, an old, close-bitten pasture with a footpath wandering across it and a molehill here and there. And the ragged hedge on the opposite side of the boughs of the elm trees swayed just perceptibly in the breeze, and their leaves stirred faintly in dense masses like women's hair. Surely, somewhere nearby, but out of sight, there must be a stream with green pools where dace were swimming. Isn't there a stream somewhere near here? He whispered. That's right, there is a stream. That's at the edge of the next field, actually. There are fish in it, great big ones. You can watch them lying in pools under the willow trees, waving their tails. It's the golden country, almost, he murmured. The golden country? It's nothing, really. A landscape I've seen sometimes in a dream. Look, whispered Julia. Look with an exclamation mark. Look. Fucking look. God damn it.
I don't know.
I don't know. Tiny whines. A thrush had alighted on the bough not 5 meters away, almost at the level of their faces. Perhaps it had not seen them. It was in the sun, they in the shade. It spread out its wings, fitted them carefully into place, ducked its head for a moment, as though making some sort of obeisance? Obeisance.
Hold on, I got this. O-B...
E-I...
E-I...
S-A...
S-A...
N-C-E.
N-C-E.
Obedience?
A Obeisance, a gesture or movement of the body, such as a curtsy, that expresses deference or homage, an attitude of deference or authority, subjugation, power, or right to demand obedience. So is it being obedient, or is it
Paying homage.
is it having homage paid to you?
Is it like tipping the hat? Like a curtsy?
Power or right to demand obedience or homage.
Kiss my ring. Nico. I'm the Pope.
Movement of the body. It's the action. It's like a verb or something, maybe,
okay,
or an adverb. No. Obeisance. Obeisance. I don't know how to pronounce an upside down E. Is a movement of the body expressing deep respect or deferential courtesy. As before a superior. It's doing you. Obeisance is do your curtsy.
Do your curtsy. As though making some sort of obeisance to the sun, a curtsy to the sun, and then began to pour forth a torrent of song. In the afternoon hush, the volume of sound was startling. Winston and Julia clung together, fascinated. The music went on and on.
They heard music?
From the bird.
Oh, okay.
Minute after minute.
Hour after hour. Going to Gangster's Paradise.
I was like, do I continue the Coolio thing? Or?
I forgot what the lyrics were. It was on like 24/7 at some point, and I'm pretty sure if I start from the beginning, I'll know all of the lyrics. Just like California Love. Fucking everywhere. Some of the words I murmur, though, because I don't know what they said.
So minute after minute, with astonishing variations, never once repeating itself, almost as though the bird were deliberately showing off its virtuosity. Sometimes it stopped for a few seconds, spread out, and resettled its wings, then swelled its speckled breast and again burst into song. Winston watched it with a sort of vague reverence. For whom, for what,
which he displayed with his obeisance.
With his obeisance. Can I have I'll dip that in some obeisance.
Cute.
For whom, for what was the bird singing? No mate, no rival was watching it. How does he know?
Yeah, he don't know what those birds are saying.
Or if there's another bird watching. I know all the birds, okay?
Name everyone then, Winston.
Fuck. What made it sit at the edge of the lonely wood and pour its music into nothingness? He wondered whether, after all, there was a microphone hidden somewhere near. He and Julia had only spoken in low whispers, and it would not pick up what they had said. But it would pick up the thrush. Perhaps at the other end of the instrument, some small beetle-like man was listening intently, listening to that. But by degrees, the flood of music drove all speculations out of his mind. It was though it was the kind of liquid stuff that poured all over him and got mixed up with the sunlight that filtered through the leaves. He stopped thinking and merely felt. The girl's waist was in the bend of his arm, was soft and warm. He pulled her round so that they were breast to breast. Her body seemed to melt into his.
Oh.
Whenever his hands moved, it was all as yielding as water. Their mouths clung together. It was quite different from the hard kisses they had exchanged earlier. When they moved their faces apart, again both of them sighed deeply. The bird took fright and fled with a clatter of wings.
I remember when we did that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were just mimicking me because, that whole problem with mimicking me. It was like I don't know. Like some sort of energy could be forced out of you that's good to have not in you or something. Blowing out a cigarette or something. Smoke. Bong hit.
Yeah, I remember some kisses that were could be described as breathtaking.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Try to make more. Winston put his lips against her ear. Now, he whispered. Not here, she whispered back. Come back to the hideout. It's safer. Quickly, with an occasional crackle of twigs, they threaded their way back to the clearing. When they were once inside the ring of saplings, she turned and faced him. They were both breathing fast, but the smile had reappeared round the corners of her mouth. She stood looking at him for an instant, then felt the zipper of her overalls. And yes, it was almost as in his dream, almost as swiftly as he had imagined it. She had torn off her clothes.
He gets to live his dream. There's something getting to be in love in this dark, cold fucking place. To be in love and have his sexual, because she really kind of has no strings attached, It's just like, let's do it, and I love you regardless. You don't need to get me nothing. I'll get you things. And yet, he still lets O'Brien control his mind. Yeah.
Yeah. Something so powerful.
I guess he tries to. Well, I guess when we get to the torture part, we'll see at what point maybe he gives up. It'll be more apparent this go around,
I think so. Uh, Almost as swiftly as he had imagined it, she had torn off her clothes. And when she flung them aside, it was with that same magnificent gesture by which a whole civilization seemed to be annihilated. Her body gleamed white.
Right? In his mind.
Yeah.
Who cares about fucking Big Brother? This is a thing that happened as a result of being against you. I feel like almost that's kind of like us in my own twisted sort of way. I don't know how to describe it without breaking down and crying though. So
Going against the bad things.
And that's every bad thing. It's not just accepting it to a point. But with our situation, you ended up I had to fight you as well to get you on my side. Even though you said you were on my side. I was like, prove it. And you're like, I don't wanna.
I ate a lot of dumb stuff.
Most of it is just my fantasies of what could be possible if you ever just put our love first. I'll always try to show you I'll never contradict myself. Always show you that I'm on your side and never have to find a reason to have to explain myself. Explain a contradiction. Oh no.
I love you, wife. Thank you, baby.
What are you thanking me for? It failed. But you
We're still
still.
we're here, and you fought hard enough. We're not torn asunder. We're not dead. We can make choices to do better things. I can. Not that you have to do better things. You've been doing the best thing for us forever.
Um, they could always go there. You've shown me that, and I've never seen us going in a different direction. I still have to see that. And I have to see that pattern happening more than the other one. I still, there's so much to.
I have a lot of trust, iron, and love to build with you.
There is so much more than that I have to do. There is a shape that you have inside my head, and now I have to hold on to you while you change shapes and make the mistakes or go backwards and do the things bad deliberately. It's a lot to it's a lot to do with, especially because it's like, I don't know, I feel powerless. I do feel like I'm trapped because I'll never be able to have another relationship with someone. Like, that's it for me. So like, I'm watching my life on the line.
I do a better job to value and everything, baby. You were, all these years, every time that you've been saying a thing and it comes right around again. Applies to one, applies to all. You gotta put value in fucking everything. And I made a lot of dumb mistakes. And dumb. Because they didn't fucking benefit me. All I did was hurt us. Hurt you.
But is a mistake a mistake when it was a decision? Is something that is this thing that is referred to a mistake when it's deliberate and it's over and over and over again?
Maybe I shouldn't say some of those things were mistakes. Because I made those decisions to go in a direction that was the opposite of you.
And now it's like, I don't even know what up and down is. That's a bad analogy. I don't know what the fuck up and down is. But the things that are the reflections of up and downs, the readings I got from up and down, I don't fucking understand any of those. What do I expect from you? How do I measure you now? The
Made your measuring really painful.
It's not just painful, it's confusing, and it's time warping. Amberlynn Reed, not the porn star. Something. I don't really understand what's going on. Maybe I haven't paid attention enough. She breaks up with Wipey.
Mm-hmm.
And something best friends. I want to go to her. She wants to go to me to talk about the things, because we're best friends, to talk to each other about how we're hurting because we broke up, but we can't, we shouldn't. And I'm like, what the fuck are you like, why, when two people want to talk about a thing that's like, isn't that just problem solving?
She didn't want to talk to her
they
ex.
said that it's a bad idea for them to confide in each other with the pain that they're going through because of the breakup that they're both experiencing together. I'm like, haha, bitch, I've been doing that for fucking 10 years, you know? There's no, how do people think that you can confide in anything, in anyone? But it's like, I don't know, I don't either. Does it get you angry?
That's a trust I've broken. It sucks that you can't trust your husband.
It just seems stupid that two people who want, like, who are you gonna... It's like friendship is supposed to be stronger than... The force of some should be stronger than the force of two? Or what do you put yourself into? how do you spread yourself so thin among like friends and stuff, and that deepest part that you need from someone? How are you gonna find that in a passing friend? Or on the internet fucking talking to other people? Maybe because they're both bullshitters. It's either they're bullshitting or they're not bullshitting. And the only way I would know if she's bullshitting is if if they let me work out that mess. So much poobie. Not poobie, booby. Poo in my boobie.
Japanese porn all over you.
What a fucked up world. Oh, let's just fucking laugh about eating shit and having diarrhea all the way home. And oh yeah, sucking dick straight out of college, being fucking gay for money. It's like being lifted up by those things doesn't mean that you are that thing that you think you are. You suck dick for money and you eat poop for money.
For fun.
Oh, you suck dick for money and you eat poop for fun. Ugh.
Just laughing and going on like everything's cool. But because you can talk about it, that means you have a grasp on it, and everything's okay. You're completely well adjusted. And your desire to eat shit doesn't have negative effects in other areas of your lives or anybody else.
It was bad that like church beat shit like that out of people or whatever, or families. But there's gotta be a reason that resistance is there, you know? Well, you have a gay thought, we're gonna beat you up. You have a thought of, fucking a dog, or I catch you, I don't know, in the barn. Getting humped by the dog.
Twisted. Absolutely twisted.
What is?
That whole situation, wife.
Oh, yeah. Well, people get bored and curious. And they like the thing that I control in my life is my body. And then they even go after that. Convincing children that they know enough to chop wieners off. Why are you listening to fucking daddy government? That's what it's turned into, daddy government. But daddy is a fucking idiot. Everybody's dad is what dad fucking hangs around and is good? I mean, how often do you see that? You know?
I don't believe it.
They're all confused. They all submit to what the last good dad was like. I don't know who's some fucking Persian emperor or something, some conqueror. Because they were getting shit done for in the mere then times. And then what?
What? Alexander the Great's dad.
Right? Maybe. I don't know, the whole like, what is a good parent? What is a good father? Someone who protects you? Okay, so why did you bring me into a world where one day you can't protect me, and also you can't protect me from getting fucking enslaved, having to go to school, having to do this, having to do that, being confused. You don't know nothing about my emotions. I don't understand nothing about you. All that shit's got to be reworked.
You're telling me there's gods that are vengeful?
Right?
That I gotta look out for too? I gotta not piss them off? There've been no good dads. Her body gleamed white in the sun, but for a moment he did not look at her body. His eyes were anchored by the freckled face with its faint, bold smile. He knelt down before her and took her hands in his. Have you done this before? Of course. Hundreds of times. Well, scores of times, anyways.
Ew. Give me fucking gonorrhea.
With party members? Yes, always with party members. With members of the inner party? Not with those swine, no. But there's plenty that would if they got half a chance. They're not so holy as they make out. His heart leapt. Scores of times she had done it.
And not even with inner party people, she's not that good. She never got with inner party people.
Scores of times she had done it. He wished it had been hundreds, thousands.
Ew.
Anything that...
Cuck?
That
exponential cuck?
Yeah. Anything that hinted at corruption always filled him with wild hope. Like, he wanted to be cucked by the whole party. He's like, I hope it was everybody.
What the hell? Does he want to fucking get cucked by O'Brien too? Fucking nasty.
You bet.
What kind of full circle ass weird bullshit? There's got to be like a diagram that could be drawn of his weird infatuation with it, or with the things that he loves and hates.
Yeah, what happened to this kid's childhood? That
he stole his little sister's chocolate, ran away, and never saw his mother or sister again. And also war and all that stuff.
Who knew? Perhaps the party was rotten under the surface. Its cult of strenuousness and self-denial simply a sham concealing inequity.
And now he loves them for that reason?
If he could have infected the whole lot of them with leprosy or syphilis, how gladly would he have done so? Anything to rot, to weaken, to undermine.
What a weird...
He pulled her down so that they were kneeling face to face. Listen, the more men you've had, the more I love you. Do you understand that?
No!
Yes, perfectly. She says, I hate purity. I hate goodness.
Oh,
I don't want any virtue to exist anywhere. I want everyone to be corrupt to the bones. Well then, I ought to suit you, dear. I'm corrupt to the bones. You like doing this? I don't mean simply me. I mean the thing itself. I adore it. That was above all what he wanted to hear. Not merely the love of one person, but the animal instinct, the simple, undifferentiated desire. That was the force that would tear the party to pieces. He pressed her down upon the grass among the fallen bluebells.
If the party is corrupt already, he can't take the party down with corruption. That's that weird, like, love opposite, like anti things. Whatever, there's things that people do, and then there's things that people hate about that thing.
Yeah.
You either are or you aren't. Are you Christian? I'm a Satanist. That kind of dichotomy. By dichotomy.
This time, there was no difficulty. You said there wasn't difficulty last time.
Ugh.
Presently, the raising and falling of their breasts allowed to normal speed. In a sort of pleasant helplessness, they fell apart. The sun seemed to have grown hotter. They were both sleepy. He reached out for the discarded overalls and pulled them partly over her. Almost immediately, they fell asleep and slept for half an hour.
Half an hour?
Half an hour?
But he's still doing chivalrous things. He wants to get, I hate everything, but I'm going to pick you flowers and I'm going to cover you while you sleep.
I hate purity. I hate goodness.
I think maybe they just hate the purity, goodness that the party... What is there? It's purity of the party. Goodness is...
He wants everybody to be corrupt. So if everybody is doing the corrupt things he's doing, then they're not being the party.
Yeah. Okay. Then they're not doing the observably corrupt thing.
Okay. That makes a little more sense.
There is like a thing and then an anti-thing. Always. Always.
Always.
So the purity and goodness, though they're saying pure and good, right? They're not... That's not what they mean.
Yeah.
They don't know that there's something. They just want to be anti Big Brother.
Anti the party.
That's... Purity is the party. Good is the party.
Winston woke first. He sat and watched the freckled face, still peacefully asleep, pillowed on the palm of her hand. Except for her mouth, he could not call her beautiful. There was a line or two round the eyes, if you looked closely. The short dark hair was extraordinarily thick and soft. It occurred to him that he still did not know her surname or where she lived. The young, strong body, now helpless in sleep, awoke in him a pitying, protecting feeling. But the mindless tenderness that he had felt under the hazel tree while the thrush was singing had not quite come back. He pulled the overalls aside and studied her smooth white flank. Ooh, her flank.
Flank steak?
In the old days, he thought, a man looked at a girl's body and saw that it was desirable, and that was the end of the story. But you could not have pure love or pure lust nowadays. No emotion was pure, because everything was mixed up with fear and hatred. Their embrace...
It always was.
Their embrace had been a battle, the climax of victory. It was a blow struck against the party. It was a political act.
Isn't fucking everything.
That's the end of the chapter.
Oh, shit. Oh,
So not only did we finish 9, but it's 10, and we're on 11 now.
We did 9 and 10?
Uh-huh.
Now we're gonna have to change all the words, chapter 9 and 10. That's like so much work.
Keeping track of shit.
Yeah. I like the thingy you made.
Yeah. Thank you, baby.
I feel like there should be more people like in the
Yeah.
background, have like a whole procession, but then have, you know, the ones with the things.
Hmm. Yeah. I think there could be some improvement. It's
Oh yeah, upgrading.
upgrade. Put a spoiler on it. Give it a racing stripe.
Mm.
So shall we put a pause to this, my dear?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Till next time, baby.